I was just gonna stick with North Dakota.
Okay.
Like
Oh,
if they,
okay.
guys,
they
no Minnesota drivers then either, or South
Who
Dakota
won
drivers.
over at Devil's Lake?
Okay,
Okay.
so we should probably specify this too, because like for example, Tucker Peterson is East Grand Forks, Minnesota. I was including
he
him.
can't.
I would
He
include
can't be
Tucker.
included then.
He is fudged.
No, and anybody that races Glendon, they're not included either. If they're from Moorhead, too far.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Track Packers podcast. I am currently your host, Jessup Pelkey. I'm with John Breckel, Becca Pelkey, and Chris Collinsworthing this week, Mason Eisenzimmer.
What episode are we on, Jessup?
36.
Good job. Good job. Episode number 36 of season 2. Can you believe we've had 36 episodes in 2023? It's been pretty crazy. Anyways, thanking our sponsor, Hitch Harness, after we got through a brief stoppage. Thank you so much, Tyler, for supporting us in the Track Packers podcast. This is a great time of year to go check out his website, hitchharness.com. They have all sorts of cool products for hitch receiver owners. There's all sorts of products for the racers there. We have a special promotion actually going on, thanks to Tyler. If you go to hitchharness.com and buy any of the products on there, hit the code TRACKPACK, all one word, TRACKPACK, and you'll get free shipping on your order. So we want to thank Tyler so much for providing that promotion out there during the holiday season. If you know someone that wants a gift from hitchharness.com, go check it out for yourself. And so thank you so much, Tyler, for supporting us on the podcast. And so to the lineup for episode number 36, I only had a few cautions the last episode, most of them by me. So I'm in the back. So John Breckel's on the pole, followed by Miss Becca Pelkey, Jessup, and then myself. So Mr. John Breckel, how are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, Mason. I had a great Thanksgiving, ate way too much food, which is normal. Had a great time with family. And now we're getting ready for the Gateway Nationals. They're coming up here in just a few weeks. So that'll be an exciting time. And we're going to do a lot of recaps here to close out some of our final power rankings of the season. So it'll be kind of fun to see how we all come up with names and drivers and placings and all of that shenanigans here on the Track Packers podcast.
Absolutely. We have a really jam-packed filled episode, kind of giving a shout out to drivers across the state and region. Miss Becca, how are you doing?
I'm good. Just winding down from the Thanksgiving weekend and now getting excited and getting ready for Christmas.
Yep, from one holiday to the next, it kind of just never stops. Mr. Jessup, how are you doing?
Well, it's another day. Survived another day of school with the kids, so it's going pretty good. All things considered, we're just trying to get through this December month to get to Christmas break and then send the little buggers back to their parents to terrorize them for at least a week or two.
That was kind of my job this weekend because I got to go home for the first time in about 3 months with as much as I travel. So it was nice to spend time with the family. Brought my kitty home alongside of me. Got to spend some time with the other kittens at home. And so that was a fun and adventurous time. So we definitely terrorized the parents at home. And so if this is your first time watching, be sure to give us a like and follow on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, Spotify, Google, and Apple if you're listening on the various podcast forums. And once again, 5-star reviews. We'd love to see them for Apple Podcasts so we can have Jessup read them on the podcast himself, which I was thinking about that the other day. Jessup, on this podcast, you've mentioned many times that you lead But wait, how does the phrasing go? They teach me to lead, not to read. So I'm
No, they
interested
pay
to
me
see how
to
this
read,
goes.
not to read.
Oh, they pay you to
Yeah, they
lead.
pay
So
him to
this is
lead,
a
not to read.
bonus for all of you people.
Yeah,
Get
so
to hear
this
me
would
read.
this would be interesting depending on what you write for the review.
So in other words, ladies and gentlemen, when you write a review, put lots of really big words in there to see if you can pronounce them.
The is hard enough.
Some days,
You-
yes. Some days, yes.
Hey,
Oh.
you guys only get 5 letters per word. I'm just kidding.
Well, with that,
Seriously, it's only 4.
why don't we drop the green flag and officially begin episode number 36 of season 2 with who or what are you repping? We'll go back to the poll sitter for this time. John Breckel, who or what are you repping?
Oh, I've got a great shirt here tonight. So we're going to be doing a lot of IMCA stuff here tonight as well. I went through and did some shirt inventory to see where I was at. I was going to go more the IMCA route, and then I got to thinking, "Ooh, I've got a really nice late model shirt that I have yet to wear." So I am wearing a late model shirt here tonight. It is the 157 of Mike Marlar. Mike did sign this shirt as well. I purchased it over at the World of Outlaws show at the I-94 Speedway back in July. And it's got Mike's blue car on the back, which he ran a brand new chassis and a red car, very sharp paint scheme, down at the World Finals here just a few weeks back and ended up winning one of the nights down there. So I'm excited to see what Mike does during the 2024 season. Super nice guy, too. If you guys ever talk to him, he's a super, super nice guy.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy to talk to. I got to talk with him a little bit before the race at 94 as well. And so that's a really cool shirt. I'm curious, just turn around just so we can see the back real quick.
Oh, yes, the back is pretty cool as well. So let me get all positioned here. I have to do my hair to make sure it's nice. So
Oh,
here
yes.
is what is on the back of the shirt as well, if you guys can see it. He's got his blue car on there, and it's a very, very, very nice scheme on the back of the 157 shirt for Mike Marlar.
Awesome. Yep. Nice shirt. It's interesting because this time of year, you're kind of seeing on this national side, especially with both sprint cars and late models, kind of like what their plans are heading into 2024. So that's kind of going to be interesting to watch over the next few weeks or a couple months and see what everyone plans to do as the schedules continue to get rolled out for the various national touring series. So awesome shirt, John. Miss Becca, who or what are you repping?
So tonight I am repping the 11K of Jeremy Keller out of Bismarck, North Dakota. He had a fantastic season this past 2023 racing year. He's had 16 races overall. He had 15 top 10s, 13 top 5s, and 4 victories. So typically you saw the 11K up front, and his stats reflect that. He had a very strong year overall. And yeah, so tonight I'm wearing the 11K of Jeremy Keller.
Awesome shirt. He definitely had a great year and is always one of the top comparers wherever he ends up racing. And so I think he went over to West Fargo once or twice this year too, and was very competitive over there too. So awesome shirt, Becca. Mr. Jessup Pelkey, who or what are you repping?
Well, I'm continuing on in my year-long theme of irrelevance with the 20th annual Montana 200 out at the Kalispell. Did I say that right? Kalispell?
Kalispell.
Yep.
Kalispell.
Anyways, 20th annual. It's like size quadruple X, so I'm wearing a hoodie underneath it so it doesn't look completely awkward on me.
I was thinking you were wearing it because it's always so cold in your house.
No. It actually, the upstairs was cold this past weekend, but the basement was the warm spot, which is unusual for our house because the basement usually is the cold spot and the upstairs is the warm spot. But yeah, it was interesting.
I can vouch for this. Stayed many a times in the Pelkey Palace basement, and it's I usually have to layer up when I go down there.
It's not that bad.
I would agree with Jessup. It's not that bad.
Debatable. Very much debatable.
It isn't bad, Mason. I don't like this negativity you're raining in upon us.
Well, I should be used to it because my parents' basement is also a similar temperature, and there's literally 5 to 6 layers of blankets on the bed in the basement. So
How many blankets do we have? At least probably at least a dozen in our basement. So I don't want to hear any complaints about being cold.
you just have to cocoon. Once I get cocooned up in that bed, and when I get to sleep, it's fine. But getting to that point is kind of torturous.
It's not tort. Wow. You know what? Just because of that, John, help me.
Becca agrees
I
with me
think-
too.
I actually think it's more like this. He's causing problems on the track. The yellow flag isn't even enough.
Sir, you take your position at the rear of the field. Get back in line.
Well, allow me to move myself to the rear of the field from my original starting position. Oh wait, it's literally.
Well, no, you're already a
right
lap
here.
down now. You've been held for a
You're-
lap. The
You're
other
gonna
thing
have to
too,
do a drive-through penalty.
yes, to even expand on this a little bit. So Mason had league tonight. So we're taping on a Monday night. Mason Bowls League on Monday nights over in Fargo. Apparently the back door was left open tonight at the center for the mechanics room, which, brings in some of the cold air. Apparently it was just so cold for Mason that he couldn't warm up while bowling. I mean, what a
John,
travesty.
I want to know, is this potentially true that the lane's oils kind of gelled up because it was so cold in there?
Apparently for Mason it did, because he just could not double the last 15 frames.
It was a struggle. I kept thinking that Jessup came and was playing a joke on me and opened up the door. Because literally everyone was commenting. It's like, why is it so cold in here? Because the fans usually run and they weren't running and it was still freezing. It's like, what is going on?
I
just
I
don't
feel
know how-
terrible for Mason.
How
It's
could he do
terrible.
that?
It's all right. I guess it just makes next week hopefully a little bit better once I recover from whatever tonight's league was. But anyways,
As long as he doesn't get a cold.
well, that's true. I could have gotten a cold. My nose was running. It was so cold. Anyways,
That's intended.
cool sweatshirt Jessup on Montana 200 20th annual. You've been on a Montana theme the last few episodes.
Hey, love for our Western folk.
Okay. Well, as far as who I'm repping, I'm deciding to kind of dig into some of my older shirts from just a few years ago. And it's kind of on the older side of all the shirts I have. But going back to 2017 for this shirt, this is Tomlinson Motorsports when both Miles and Marcus were in the IMCA Modifieds. It's just on the front of the shirt. So Marcus is in the 5T, Miles in the 15T. Of course, Miles is now with the Western Renegade non-wing sprint car series. And Marcus is still racing the IMCA Modified, which congratulations to Marcus and his girlfriend, Mariah, who recently just got engaged this last weekend. And so big shout out to the Tomlinson family and Sandros as well. And so repping the Tomlinsons from 2017. Of course, they put on plenty of miles. Marcus, I believe, which we'll kind of actually get into in just a little bit, travels around the state of North Dakota quite a bit. Miles being co-owner of the Western Renegades, of course, travels just as much, if not even more. And so big ambassadors of the sport of dirt track racing. And so shout out to the Tomlinsons for today's shirt. And also new hat, because I haven't worn this on the podcast yet. This is a Braden Brower hat, who finished runner-up in the WISSOTA National Points for the street stocks. And so just repping all sorts of new-ish gear for today's episode. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is who or what we are repping for episode number 36. So for the trackback report, we thought we would like to highlight some of the drivers that did well on a national level in both IMCA and WISSOTA. Last weekend was the IMCA National Banquet, which a lot of the top runners in IMCA got honored. And we had a couple up from our region as far as in the national points. So Becca, would you like to highlight a couple of them that kind of did well on the national level?
Sure. Let's see. I have too many windows open. Tried to be prepared.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
On a national level?
Yes.
Step there. For both?
So
What?
starting with the IMCA Modifieds in national points, Travis Hagen finished 4th overall in the national points. Chaz Baca was your national champion in the IMCA Modifieds. For the most part, just doing a quick glance, Travis Hagen was the only one to make the top 30. If I keep scrolling down, maybe there'll be more.
Yeah, he had a really, really good season. It's kind of one of those things where as the season was kind of going on, he was continuing to rack up more and more wins and championships. It's like, I wonder how high he can get in national points. And so getting fourth in the IMCA Modifieds is no small feat.
Yeah, it was incredible. And track championships also count as bonus points in IMCA. So considering Travis had 3 of them, I think they only take 2. But still, those extra bonus points go a long way. And so Travis finished 4th overall. He was one of 5 drivers to break over 1,000 points in the national IMCA modified point standings. So he was just, oh gosh, don't make me do math, 14 points behind the national champion. So just a few points shy for Travis Hagen. All right, so moving on to the IMCA Stock Cars. I thought you were going to have me rattle them off, Mason. So, okay. At first glance, we got Rob Van Mill. He finished 13th overall in the national point standings. Adam Goff finished 16th. Jorn Boyce finished 31st. And your national champion in the IMCA Stock Cars was Michael Nichols. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
Rob Van Mill, he finished runner-up in the point standings over at the Red River Valley. He was the highest of our local stock car drivers in the IMCA Stock Cars.
Yeah, having 3 in the top 30 is pretty good too. Well, of course,
I'd
Rob
say.
Van Mill was the Stock Car Tour champion, and so had a really strong season, and is always wherever he traveled was one of the top runners everywhere he went. So big congrats out to Rob Van Mill on a great season.
So up next, we have the IMCA National Hobby Stocks. Kyler Satrin finished 7th in the national points standings. Let's see. Brandon Bombardo, I know he's not a local driver, but he was your Tougher Than Dirt champion back in June. So he also finished pretty well in the national points. He finished 12th overall. But yeah, they only list the top 20 in the hobby stocks. But Tim Otterness also finished in the top 15. He finished 15th, obviously. So yeah, had 2 local North Dakota guys up in the top 20 in the national point standings. And your national champion was Zach Olmsted.
Which I believe, did Zach Olmsted, or am I thinking of Morgan Olmsted was up here for the Tougher Than Dirt Tour?
Morgan was up here. Yep. Zach was your Super Nationals champion from 2022.
Gotcha. Yep. So yeah, we had Kyler Satrin, a local guy out of mine. I think he had got another 3 championships this year too. So he had a really stellar season as well in that IMCA hobby stock class. So big shout out to those drivers as well.
All right, moving on to the IMCA Northern Sport Mods. Rich Pavlicek was runner-up in national points. He was, gosh, I hate math. Let's see, 13 points behind the national champion of Matthew Luft.
23.
Yeah, math is hard. So yeah, Rich Pavlicek was your runner-up in the national IMCA Northern Sport Mods. Let's see who else we can find. David Shirix from Central Minnesota. He finished 11th in national points. He came to race the Stock Car Stampede back in
October.
Beginning of October this year.
Sure, great. So yeah, Rich Pavlicek, a heck of a run this year in the Northern Sport Mods. And then do we want to talk about Sport Compacts again?
Sure. I also, while you're looking up Sport Compacts, I got the IMCA Race Saver Sprint Cars as well, because we actually did have quite a few up in the national points. So Andy Pake was 3rd, and Ty Wilkie top 5. Trevor Serbas, who raced up here quite a bit, 6th. And so really strong showing by the IMCA Race Saver Sprint Cars. They raced primarily over the Red River Valley Speedway and a couple other races sprinkled around the state and region. And Tyler Drucke was your national champion, who came up actually quite a few times. I know he came up to Grand Forks a few times at the River City Speedway. So definitely put on the miles for that national championship as well.
So going back to the IMCA Sport Compacts, our state champion was Chris Yost. He finished 43rd overall in the national points. But it was Randall Martin who was your national champion in the Sport Compacts.
Excellent. So big shout out to all those that were up in the national points. It's not easy to do with IMCA because there's such a vast area and a lot of tracks that run all these classes. And so just to get up in the top 30, top 40, whatever it may be, it's a big accomplishment. So big congrats out to all the national points finishers in IMCA. Do we want to go over the state champions as well? Becca, did you have that handy, or we can kind of go through it kind of like we did before?
Oh yeah, I had them prepared. Starting with the IMCA Modifieds, our state top 10 drivers were Marcus Tomlinson. He was our state champion. I believe this is his 4th year in a row. It's been quite a few years that Marcus Tomlinson has been our state champion in the IMCA Modifieds. He edged out Travis Hagan, who finished 2nd. Chris Tusher finished 3rd. He did a lot of traveling this year. Scotty Gartner finished 4th, and Jordan Sowers had a heck of a season this year. He rounded out your top 5. Cody Shope finished 6th. Chris Anderson was your 7th place driver. Travis Tooley finished 8th. Jason Walla finished 9th. And your 10th place driver in the IMCA North Dakota State points was Drew Christensen. But yeah, hats off to Marcus Tomlinson. The whole Tomlinson family. They are some of those old school race all weekend, every weekend kind of folks. And it's good to see Marcus and the whole family traveling, because there's far fewer drivers who do it as much as Marcus and even Travis Hagan do it. So congratulations to Marcus Tomlinson.
Yeah, and Marcus, it was not without any adversity, because he had a couple wrecks throughout the year, or mechanical troubles that kind of almost sidelined him for like the rest of the year. So kudos to all the people that kind of got his car put back together, or lended parts or cars to help him keep going on that, because I know that's a big goal of his at the beginning of the year. So once again, congratulations to Marcus Tomlinson.
So moving on to the IMCA North Dakota Stock Car points, Adam Goff was our state champion this year. He finished ahead of Joram Boyce. Mike Hagan finished 3rd. Rob Van Mill finished 4th. And rounding out your top 5 was Will Shareski. Gary Gowdy Sr. finished 6th. Austin Doe finished 7th. Brennan Bohr finished 8th. Gary Gowdy Jr. finished 9th. And Brody Carlsrud rounded out your top 10 in the IMCA North Dakota Stock Car points.
Excellent job once again to Adam Goff. I want to say this is either 2 or 3 in a row for him. He's been pretty consistent getting that state title for the stock cars.
So moving on to our IMCA North Dakota points, Kyler Sutton was your track champion. He had 1,400 points this year. Commanding lead over 2nd place Brenner Grinstead. Max Beater finished 3rd. Alex Twite finished 4th. Connor Hansen rounded out your top 5. Finishing 6th this year was Brett Green. Caden Apple finished 7th. Ethan New, finished 8th. Ty Saxon finished 9th. And rounding out your top 10 was Thomas Goldsberry. But congratulations to Kyler for being our North Dakota state champion.
Yeah, between Kyler and Brenner, they pretty much followed each other to all the tracks, and usually it was Kyler getting the better of Brenner. We'll see what happens going into 2024, or what their plans are going in 2024, because who knows, might be in a different car. We'll see. But congrats to those top 2 as well.
So up next, we have the IMCA Northern Sport Mod North Dakota points. Your North Dakota champion was Brock Beater. He finished, I'm bad at math, let's see, 18.
Good job.
Points ahead of Christopher Zenz. Robbie Roselli finished 3rd. Gabe DeShaw, heck of a season in his rookie year in the Sport Mod. He finished 4th overall. Darren Medler rounded out your top 5. Then finishing the year in 6th place in state points was Bruce King. Darren Schatz, Drew Pepp, he finished 8th in his rookie campaign. Tim Goodwin finished 9th, and Keenan Glauser rounded out the top 10 in the IMCA Northern Sport Mod points in North Dakota.
There's a close points battle in the sport mods. And for folks that don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe with state points, it's basically an accumulation of all the points you get across North Dakota. So it's not like they drop any shows. It's kind of just an accumulation of whatever you get. So to have it come down to just basically a matter of a race or within a race, it's like, it could be just a result of you DNFing one night. That makes the big difference. So
yeah,
congratulations to Brock Peter.
So moving on to the IMCA Sport Compacts, our track champion, as I alluded to earlier, was Chris Yost. He was your champion over 2nd place Alex Thompson. Lily Christensen, she did quite a bit of racing all over the state this year. She finished 3rd. Coy Schneider finished 4th. Tiffany Thorson. She rounded out the top 5 in the IMCA Sport Compacts. Brian Hubanks finished 6th, James Gilbert in 7th, Zach Hubanks in 8th, Avery Legason finished 9th, and Gabriel Tallman rounded out the top 10 in the IMCA Sport Compacts. So, but congratulations to Christopher Yost and Chris Yost, Alex Thompson, Coy Schneider, Lily Christensen. They all traveled quite a bit over the course of the year. There's only 3 tracks that really race the Sport Compacts regularly, which is Thunder Mountain, Nodak, and Mandan. So Chris, who lives just, I'd say probably a half hour out of Minot, he pulled it down every Friday night to come race at Dakota Speedway. Also supported the Thunder Mountain Speedway, and then raced Nodak on Sunday nights. And that can be a long weekend of traveling. And super thankful for Chris coming down every Friday at Dakota Speedway, especially since our car counts were not all that healthy this year. Hopefully we can get a few more drivers interested in that racing division, as it's a very affordable way to get into dirt track racing and learn the fundamentals of racing before maybe potentially moving up a car class, or maybe this is the car class that you're meant to be in. Whatever it might be, hopefully we'll get a few more drivers statewide, so that we can have some healthy traveling among those three tracks. And who knows, maybe there could be a track along the way that may want to just add them for a fun night of racing. Who knows? But yeah, hope to see more Sport Compacts in the near future.
Absolutely. Yep. Big shout out to Chris Yost. He's been really spearheading that growth around the area for Sport Compacts. And so hopefully it continues to grow and flourish and get some more cars across the state. That'd be awesome to see that class grow and help filter in more racers into the other classes in the future as well. I got IMCA Racer sprint cars. You got them already?
Nope.
Awesome.
You can read them off, Mason.
All righty. So in North Dakota, your state champion for North Dakota was Ty Wilkie in the 72, 10 points ahead of Andy Pake in second, followed in third by Morgan Nyquist, Ty Hanton in fourth, and Tyler Rabenberg was your top 5. Brandon, it's Rico, right?
Rico.
Yeah.
Brandon Rico in 6th, Josh Johnson in 7th, Jeremy Snow 8th, Paul Kautzman 9th, and Tom Cummings in 10th. So big congrats out to Ty and Andy. They were battling all year, like swapping wins, it seemed like. And a big shout out to Ty. Hope recovery is going well. I know he's been in and out of the hospital over the last few weeks, but it sounds like he's on the mend, getting fully healthy. And so continued prayers and support out to Ty Wilkie, and congratulations on the state championship for the IMCA Race Saver Sprint Cars. So that is the state points for IMCA across all the divisions in the state of North Dakota. I wanted to give a quick shout out to the state champions in WISSOTA, Street Stocks, Tucker Pearson, the 27P, who finished 3rd in national points. Jory Berg in the WISSOTA Midwest Mods was also in the top 10, I believe, in WISSOTA national points. Joseph Thomas was up in the top of national points. He was your state champion for the WISSOTA Modifieds. And Brody Troftgruben was your state champion for the WISSOTA late models. So congratulations out to those drivers. And we didn't do a shout out for the national champions for WISSOTA. Hornets, Justin Barsness. The Pure Sox, Josh Berg in the 35. Justin Vogel in the Street Sox, number 10. Zach Benson was your Midwest Modified National Champion. Tommy Bowden in the Mod 4s. Shane Sabraski doubled up in both the Super Stocks and the Modifieds. And Tyler Peterson was your late model national champion in his rookie campaign. So big congratulations out to all of those national champions on a great 2023 season. So with that, I think it's time to get into some power rankings time. And we've had a few weeks off since the last iteration. And so the way we've been doing these power rankings, we've been kind of discussing, some names that we can kind of filter in. We've been kind of like ordering them 1 through 10, just with the dialogue and discussion. And so feel free to comment your thoughts on who you think should be in the top 10, who you think could be an honorable mention. And so I think for today, we're kind of focusing on the core 4 IMCA race classes, starting with the hobby stocks. And so I got my spreadsheet all ready to go for IMCA hobby stocks. And so let's start throwing out some names and see if we can come up with the top 10.
Okay, so Brennan Rayner, Tyler Satrin,
Caden Appold. Well, we could say Brenner Grinstead.
Brenner Grinstead. Could you repeat that first name, John?
It was supposed to be Grinstead.
Okay. I was like, I think you meant Grinstead, but
Yep, I said Rayner, and that was the wrong one. It should be Grinstead, and I agree that would definitely be a caution on me.
Okay, officially, John has the first caution of today. Well, I
Yes.
guess unless you count that my complaining of the cold, but really, no.
Yeah, your spiel earlier caused a black flag. It's fine.
Whatever.
Well, we'll call it a pit lane drive-through.
Drive-through penalty. All right. Okay.
Thomas Goldsberry.
Thomas Goldsberry's a good
Yeah.
one to add.
Let me take a look at him.
I would put Alex Twite as a name on there.
Oh, yep. He's a good one.
Couple drivers
Is
out
it-
east: Brody Eckert, Brad Orvidal. I'd also put Andrea Jacobson on there.
Yes.
Might be a little out of practice, so bear with us, ladies and gentlemen, for struggling with names here.
It's been a
Tim
long time.
Church, Cody Hulse.
Tim Church, you said?
Yep, Cody Hulse.
How many names are we at right now? So we got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 names right now. Any others that come to the top of mind? Let me look at some points real quick. See, some of these are tough too, because there's a lot of names I'd put on here, but they only race like a handful of races.
What about Taylor Heaton?
I would put Taylor Heaton on there as a name to consider.
I think you should put Max Beater down just because he traveled quite a bit over the course of the summer. He also picked up his very first win and raced overall pretty well.
I would agree with that. Definitely agree.
Here, double check this track.
What about Andrew Birch? I know that's one name that doesn't race a ton anymore, but I mean, he was pretty dominant just a few years back in this division.
I think we could put him on as an honorable mention at the very
Yeah.
least, because he only raced
I'd
a handful
agree.
of times.
Yeah, he raced a few times over in Mona.
Did we
I
say
think we could put
Shortland?
Oh, Caden Yortland. Yes, that would be a good one to add. Thank you for
think you
reminding
could
me about
also
the
add-
Canadians.
I think you could also add Ethan New. He picked up a few wins this summer as well.
New. There's a ton up in Estevan that I might have forgotten about too.
Caden sure seems a little far down. No.
What
I'll take-
about Tim
Oh,
Otterson? Because he ran out of Brainerd, but he ran over at Fargo quite regularly this year.
Could
I
we say
think Tim could be an honorable mention.
Okay, because he's got, just looking at his stats from a Fargo perspective at Red River, he's got a few wins and multiple top twos.
Yeah, he was over there for a lot of the races, and I know he nabbed the big special they had for the hobby stocks at the end of the year. So he's definitely a name to put on there. Connor Hansen has to be considered too. I almost forgot about Connor.
I'm just gonna
Yes.
say
Yes.
you can tell me no, but since he destroyed or did very well at the Tougher Than Dirt Tour, Brandon Bombardo as honorable mention.
You can put him as honorable mention.
I would also, from the Tougher Than Dirt Tour side, I would also put down a couple other drivers. I would do Jason Ruby, if he finished top 5 in that point standings this past year. And Chris Randolph, I would also put him on the list.
So we got a lot of names on here. Let's see here.
All right, that's why we have a lot. So
We have
can
21 names.
Holy
Okay.
cow!
Can we cut some of these people from so that the graphic artist who has to make the graphics doesn't
I was
have
gonna
to
say,
squish?
can the graphic designer fit all these names on here?
Probably not. So how about this? We'll go through the list of top 10, and then maybe we'll figure out who we're going to cut from the honorable mention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that. Okay. So let's start at the top, because I think the top few we can kind of get through pretty swiftly. I'd say number 1 would probably be Kyler Satrin.
I would agree.
Yep.
So let's move into number 1. Number 2,
I would say Caden Appelt.
I would agree with that as well.
That would be my vote as well. Number 3,
Who's the guy on the east side who's been pretty much untouchable?
Brody Eckert.
Then Brody.
Okay, I would say probably Brody.
I would say Brody maybe number 3 as well.
All righty. Number 4, I would probably lean towards Connor Hansen.
Yes. Yes, I would too. He's the 15 out of Estevan kind of area. And I would definitely consider him to be that in that mix, especially with his running at multiple big races, including Super Nationals as well.
I'll say he went down to Super Nationals too.
He did. Yep.
All right, number 5. Who are we thinking for number 5? Maybe somewhere in the line of Brenner Grinstead.
I would
I
say
think
Brenner.
Brenner number
Wouldn't
5.
you guys agree? Yeah, I
I
would
think
say
so.
Brenner.
What are you
Maybe.
thinking, Jessup?
Oh, he's got 3. Oh, okay. That looks pretty good.
He raced a lot
Well-
too.
Who else are
Yeah.
you thinking of, Jessup?
Well, I was looking at our Canadian friends a little bit, and just looking at Caden Hortland, I guess he doesn't have as impressive of a resume as Connor, so not.
How many wins does he have though?
Yeah, Brenner.
He has 2 wins, but he only got 12 races total for the year.
Okay.
But he's
Yeah, I would
got
probably
12
consider Brenner. Right? I'd probably still go Brenner just because of the number of races, probably from there.
That's
Um,
good with it.
And then who would you guys think is number 6 then?
I think you could go with Tim Church. He raced 20 times, got 4 wins out on the East.
How's that?
Wow, he had a quietly good year.
He did.
Yeah, I would consider that. I would be in agreement with Beck on that one.
Okay, we'll put him at that's number 6. How did Cody Holst do? Because he mainly raced on Dickinson.
He was the track champion in Dickinson.
Can we go back one real quick?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Church.
Actually, I would put Tim Otterness ahead of Tim
Yeah,
Church.
That's who I was thinking of, Becca.
Okay.
He's
He
got
had 29 races and 11 feature victories.
and a good chunk of his races are either Buffalo River or Red River Valley or Norman County, and yeah, he looks pretty good. I'd be comfortable with saying Tim above Tim.
Tim above Tim. Great. So that leaves 3 spots left in our top 10. So just a few drivers maybe to consider. So Cody Holst was track champion over at Southwest. Andrea Jacobson, who got a couple of wins this year. There's also Caden Yordelin, Ethan New, Taylor Heaton.
Let's pull up Cody and see how his season went.
I have his stats up. He got 1 win out of 9 starts. I'd almost put Caden above Cody in this instance.
I would kind of agree with you on that too, Mason. I think I'd put Caden and then maybe Cody next after that, I would say, because of the track championship as well.
Let me just check on Andrea Jacobson real quick, see how she did. Oh, look, an Oli sighting. He was on Jessup's camera, now is going across Becca's screen. We should really put some advertisement on the side of Oli because that would get a lot of TV time.
I would agree.
I guess I would say Jacobson. She's got 3 wins. Not a track championship, but
Well, getting a track championship over there when you got Brody Eckert and
Yeah.
Otterness and
got some heavy hitters there. I'm not saying Dickinson doesn't have heavy hitters either, but
so would you think 8 through 10 could be between Jacobson, Holst, and probably Yordelin?
yeah,
How many
Honestly-
races does Holes have?
9.
9?
9.
I would put Alex Twite above Holes. Wherever that's gonna fall. Alex Twite raced let's see, let me pull it up again.
Also,
looked it
I
up.
gotta check Ethan New's stats because he's got 4 wins and 20 starts.
Alex Twite has 23 starts, 14 top 10, 7 top 5s, and 1 feature victory.
So if we're going by wins, I gotta check one more person here. Ethan New has the most out of the remaining left.
How many does he have at local area tracks?
It's a good question. Well, 1 at Williston for sure.
He's
Southwest,
got 1 in Southwest.
3 in
Because of-
Southwest, and 1 in Williston.
3.
Oh, then I'd say probably put him up in there.
I'd probably put him number 8. So then that leaves 2 spots.
And then there were 2. I think I said Caden had 2, I think.
And that's a very stout field of cars in Esteban.
So I would be comfortable putting him at 9.
Alrighty. And then that leaves 1 spot in the top 10.
Did we say Jacobson had 3 wins?
She had 3 wins, yes. And 32 starts
Oh.
with 15 top 5s and 27 top 10s.
So that basically, what does Orville look like? Just
I don't know.
So-
Brad had a lot of wins this year. He had 1 win in the same
He had
amount of
1 win
races.
and
I
had
think
one-
Andrea
one
could
win.
round out the top 10.
oh, he's got 25. I don't know.
He's got
Look
a
at
lot
his
more
top
top
10s.
5s.
He's
top
got
10s are
a
31
boatload
for
of
31.
He's got 27 top. So for that's a stupidly ridiculous stat. In 32 races, he only finished outside the top 5 times.
Mhm.
And he only finished outside the top 10 once.
And that was a did not start.
How many wins?
1.
He's got 1. And then,
So he runs
okay,
up front a
so-
lot.
So who can we start looking to get rid of?
Yeah, we're just leaving this 10th position as hanging. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It looks like down in the honorable mention list, not including or actually like 10, not including 10th place for our top 10 rankings. And so probably should eliminate
So
2 to 3 more out of the honorable mention list.
I guess Chris had a good year, but his numbers weren't as good as what we're looking at for the final position. So I would say Chris would fall off.
I would agree with that. Yep.
I would say Jason Ruby focuses. I can't say that. I think
He splits time with his wife, and so he doesn't race a whole lot because if
Mm.
he's not racing, she is.
Mhm.
Although he
Yeah.
ran really well on the Tougher Than Dirt Tour, I don't know if that warrants enough to be honorable mention ahead of people who have got track champions, a handful of wins, who race all year long.
Yeah, I would probably axe him as well.
I think I'd also go along with this one. Max got his first win this year, but again, we're looking at people who are getting 31 top 10s out of 32. And that might be I don't know. If we're trying to shorten the honorable mention list, that'll probably be one that's gonna have to wait 1 more year, I think. Unless you can
See,
sell me up.
I'd argue keeping him on the honorable mention list over Brandon Bombaro just because Max raced pretty much exclusively in the state. I get that Brandon's the Tougher Than Dirt Tour champ, but this is kind of more focused on North Dakota. We still got 10th place to go with, and that would leave it with 7 names to choose from.
So who do we have left? Hortland and
Portland's number 9.
Well, would we be comfortable moving him down?
Would you move Orvidal above him then?
I would say Orvidal would be closer to 9. Unless you guys think I'm wrong.
No, I think there's something to be said for being that consistent throughout the entirety of the racing year.
So then the only questions I would have state then would be, does Hulse and Jacobson have a stronger case than Hortland? Hulse is a track champion, and there's got to be some value and weight behind being a track champion. And his one other race off away from his track, he got 6th at Tougher Than Dirt at McLean. I think it was Tougher Than Dirt.
There was. We were there that night.
It was a fun night.
It was.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of fun that night. And then
We had-
Caden was runner-up at Estevan, which is, yeah, it's still pretty good.
Just doing a quick glance at the Southwest Speedway points, it looks like they averaged about 7 or 8 cars a night. So just glancing off the points and looking at the how many points everyone else had, not taking away anything from a track championship, but I think Andrea had more higher car counts to battle with versus Cody.
But that's not his fault, though.
I
He's
know
the
it's not his fault.
he's got to race against.
But when you guys did power rankings that got everyone in a tizzy a few years back, you got there was a heavier weight for drivers who raced against more cars.
Whoa,
Those are dark times, Becca.
we don't talk about those times.
Okay, so
Or do I
it looks
lie?
like we're debating between Portland, Jacobson, and oh gosh, who was the third one? Hulse. Sorry.
Hulse.
John, who would your vote be for number 10?
That's kind of an interesting one. I personally would probably put. I don't know if I've ever seen. I think I actually have seen him race. I might do Cody just because of the track championship, honestly.
Okay.
Because I feel like IMCA, they award you extra points for track championships as well. I did look up from Andrea's perspective. I know Southwest had small car counts. Red River averaged between 9 to 11 hobbies on most nights. About the same car count could be said for Buffalo River, a little bit more over there. So I would kind of consider just because of the track championship to be over in that 10th spot.
Okay. Becca, who would you consider? Or who would you put in number 10, I should say? Did Becca freeze? Okay, no.
No. Thinking.
Nope, she's just thinking.
Which Birch are we looking at here?
Andrew. I think he only raced a handful of times, so I think he would still
I
stay
think we could take
honorable
him off the list probably too.
I mean, I can see why we would look at him, but no wins, 4 top 5s out of 5 races, 3 seconds. I mean, whether it's his own doing or not, it's a little late in the race column.
Alrighty, so I'll take him off the honorable mention list then. So back to Becca, number 10, or Oli. What is Oli's pick?
Oli just wants to whack her if she doesn't say the right answer.
No, I'm just looking at. I think I put Andrea as my 10th place driver.
Okay, so we got one for Andrea, one for Cody. Jessup, this is just for number 10.
I know. Should I be difficult and say Caden? And
Sure,
then pass it on to Mason?
sure.
Yeah, and then Mason can make the final vote. Honestly, that's not a bad idea.
Okay,
I mean, Mason's pretty unbiased, and he's seen them all race this year.
Yep. I'll give the nod to Cody for the track championship. Just because I think there's a lot of weight to a track championship, regardless of car count. It's a big deal to win a track championship, especially in IMCA.
He's a back-to-back track championship as well.
So consistent from year to year. I would give the nod to Cody for number 10. So with that, for our top 10 of IMCA hobby stocks, your top 10 looks like this: Kyler Satcher number 1, Caden Appelt number 2, Brody Eckert number 3, Connor Hansen number 4, Brendan Gridstead in 5th, followed by Tim Arnes, Tim Church, Ethan New, Brad Orbital, and Cody Holst. Honorable mentions include Andrea Jacobson, Caden Yorlin, Alex Twite, Caden Tukeshire, and Taylor Heaton. So 15 names. That should help the graphic person out a little bit more.
Is happy.
Yes. We love a happy Becca on this show.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay. Sport mods, that's next, right?
Sport mods is next.
Gabe Deshaw.
God.
Yeah, that's spelled wrong in the spreadsheet. I wonder who wrote that.
Mason.
Wasn't me.
Who
Was
was
that?
it?
It was you. Brock Beater. I'd put it as another name.
Brock Beater.
Whoa. You're blaming me?
Rich Pavlicek.
Aaron Medler. Scott Jacobson.
Scott Jacobson. I'd probably put Kelly in there too.
Kelly Jacobson.
Oh.
Christopher Zenz.
Let's say Tate Johnson, Tanner Conlon.
Ryan Reestead.
No, Luke Krogh went more to a mod this year, correct?
Correct.
Was in a mod, yep.
Okay. Don't have to worry about him. I gotta check. I don't know how much Roselli raced this year. I feel like he didn't race as much this year. Sorry, what was that? You kind of cut out.
It was 6 races. He was 1, 3, and 5.
Well, since we're considering track championships, do we want to include Jordan Binstock? He was your Southwest Speedway track champion.
I would think so. Chad Strachan. I would put him on the list as well.
That's a good one. Actually, looks like Roselli had 5. Yeah, he had 5 wins this year.
Really? The one I pulled up of him, he only had 6 races.
I have him.
Oh, that might have been at the track. Whoops.
Just at that track. Yeah. Yeah, I would put Roselli in that mix.
Yep, I would too.
He was the track champion at Estevan.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Speaking of Estevan, I would probably put Levi Runge as one other.
Yeah.
They had a lot of sport mods around especially on the western part of the state.
The west side, they had a lot.
I want to make sure I'm not missing anyone. We are at how many names? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 14 names. So good amount. Any other names we should consider?
Yeah, I put Darren Schatz on there just as an honorable mention, honestly.
Can we go the Conlon family as a tag team along with the Pavlicek family?
Well, then we have to put the Jacobson family as a tag team.
That's fine.
Yeah, we'll just put them all down there. And we have to also put the Van Mill family down there as well.
The what?
I don't want a tag team. Stop it.
Okay.
How about the real shots? Darren Shots.
Yep, we just mentioned him.
Okay.
Yep.
That's 15
I'm missing
names.
anybody from like the Fargo area.
Yeah, that's I'm trying to.
Not missing anybody over there I can see.
Man, there's 2 Canadians I want to put on there, but I just think they need a little bit more to get in on the list.
I'm kind of that way with the Speedens too. I mean, they looked really strong, but I'm like, I think they need a little bit more racing to get on the list.
Yeah. So we got 15 names on here. So let me get rid of the misspelled name in the list, and we'll start from number one once again. So who would you put as number one? This could actually be kind of debatable.
Well, you could go Gabe.
I'd say Rich Papelchek.
See, I would say Rich.
Let's look them up. Let's compare them for statistic wise, because I haven't done that really closely for them yet.
So he finished runner-up in national points, so that's the first thing on Rich.
And Rich was the track champion at the Red River Valley Speedway, Norman County Speedway.
But Gabe and
Buffalo. So he's got 3 track championships.
Okay. Well, Gabe's got. Did he win at Nodak?
He did.
He won the track championship at Nodak, and on my race pass, he raced a stock car too, so those wins are kind of going to factor in as well.
Yes.
Yeah, he obviously had the win in the stock car for the Stampede. I think that was his only stock car win?
Correct.
I feel like it was. But
You can
but if we
also-
look at wins,
Also, fun
though
fact.
too, go ahead.
So fun fact, if you click on the wins, it'll show you exactly just the win column. So yeah, the one win to take out would be the stock car win at the Stampede. That was his first ever victory in the stock car. He did double duty throughout the year.
So Rich would have had 16 wins in the sport mods, and Gabe had 15. And so I would be in agreement that I would put Rich as number one.
Yeah, but Gabe won out at Vegas.
But then wouldn't that equal with Rich being second in national points?
Wouldn't that show up on my race pass?
Yeah, I see Gabe's 2 wins. He won it once in the stock cars and in the B mods, so he double dipped at Vegas.
And where did he get national or track championships at? I know he got one at Thunder Mountain. I know
and one at Nodak.
One at Nodak.
And
Okay.
Rich
Rich
got
has-
the east side
has
at
3.
Fargo, Glendon, and Ada.
Okay. Who won Tougher Than Dirt?
That was Gabe, I believe.
And Rich didn't run Tougher Than Dirt.
Hey, he can only race the people who's racing against him.
I'd still say Rich is first.
I'd still say Rich. I would say Rich and
Yeah.
then Gabe. That's
Oh.
truly where I would go.
I tried, you West Siders. I tried.
You made a compelling argument. I just find it. I think it's tough to outweigh getting second in national points with 3 track championships as well.
Agreed. 100%
Agreed.
agreed.
That's fine. I'm good with that. I'm not opposed to either of them being up in the front.
It's
Same.
good discussion.
Same. So we have Gabe as
2.
second then,
2.
right? Yep.
Go back to our little spreadsheet.
Yeah, this is where it's going to kind of get a little bit hairy because I don't know. Have everyone's wins memorized?
Well, I don't think it's too far from. Well, I mean Jacobson. The Jacobsons. I think it would come down to Jacobsons against Roselli.
Roselli had 5 for 6 wins. So did Darren Medler. Darren Medler also had 6 wins.
Okay. But Roselli's a track champion.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would probably do Roselli and then Medler, honestly. Just looking at the
Medler was the track champion
amount of races.
at Williston.
Oh, Medler did win a track championship too. I didn't even realize that.
So would you put Medler over Roselli?
I would put Medler then because Medler had one more win than Roselli as well. If we're comparing them kind of from that basis.
Okay.
Oh,
Scott
Jacobson
Jacobson had 3 wins.
Kelly had 4 wins.
Medler. Okay.
Kelly actually had 3 wins as well because one of the wins was in the Red River Kart Club.
Okay, coming with this.
That's right. I think I was there that night. So
So I think
then
our fifth place driver could be Ryan Riestead.
I
He
was
raced 18 times, had 17 top 10s, 16 top 5s, and 5 victories.
Oh, I would agree with Becca on that. Yep,
That's
I would agree with Becca.
let me look at Brock Beater real quick.
Brock was your Oktoberfest champion.
He had 4 wins and 20 top 5s and 23 top 10s out of 37 events. So I would probably put Ryan Riestead next.
Yeah, I would too. I think I would put Ryan. I would actually maybe do Brock after Ryan just because he was state champion as well for IMCA.
That's what I was thinking.
And then who would you guys do next? Are you thinking, I think it's got to be between the two Jacobsons next, between Kelly and Stott.
I agree.
Based on the times I saw them race against one another, I would honestly put Kelly over Scott.
Okay.
Oops, that was the wrong button. Kelly, Scott. So it looks like we got 2 left in our top 10. What about I gotta see. Who won the track championship at McLean? Was that Christopher Zenz or was that someone else?
Ends.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Christopher Zenz had 33 starts, 28 top 10s, 13 top 5s, and 1 victory.
What was Jordan Binstock's numbers? I know from the Southwest Speedway side since he won a track championship.
He had 10 starts, 8 top 10s, 5 top 5s, and 2 victories.
I take that back. Christopher Zenz didn't win. Brock Beater won.
Oh, at
McLean?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's showing up as he. So,
And I'm looking at Tanner Conlon. He had 2 wins, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, and 14 races.
This was Christopher Zenz's second season in the sport mods, correct? Or is it his third?
I think it's third.
I think it's third.
So out of the names we have left, so we have Christopher Zenz, Tanner Conlon, Tate Johnson, Jordan Binstock, Chad Stretch, and Levi Runge, and the real shots. Shots.
Tate Johnson. I thought Tate had a pretty solid year. Maybe not.
Mason, are you looking up Levi's stats?
Yes, I will look up Levi's.
Okay.
Has he won? I don't think Levi's won at all, has he?
He had 1 victory this season.
Just
Okay.
1.
14 starts, 11 top 10s, 8 top 5s.
Tate had a lot of top 5s in the state.
So this kind of goes back to like, do you weigh a track championship over wins? Because Jordan Binstock was this track champion in Southwest, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
So if we were weighing a track championship, we should probably get him in the top 10.
So maybe you put Jordan 10th. Honestly, that's what I would maybe do.
That's what I would do.
Okay. So then that leaves 1 spot at number 9.
Well, at the same time, didn't we leave Dustin Erickson out of the top 10 for the street stocks?
We did, yes.
Who else would we put in there then? So we have Tate left, right?
How
We have
many?
Tate.
What are Tate's stats? You say he raced all over Jessup. What were his numbers?
They weren't as impressive as I remembered it. It was 1 win, 14 top 5s, 21 top 10s, and 42 races.
So here's a name to consider: Chad Stretchen, he mainly races up in Minot, but he had 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 8 top 10s out of 11 events.
How many top 5s?
8 out of 11.
Okay, so
he raced exclusively at Noack Speedway.
Would you take Conlon or Strachan? Stretchen.
I would do Stretchen over Conlon, honestly.
I personally would too.
Okay, I'm good with that.
I've seen them both race in person.
So that fills out our top 10. So I'll run through it real quick here. Number 1, Rich Pavlicek, Gabe DeShant, number 2, Darren Miller, number 3, Roselli in 4th, followed by Ryan Restad in 5th, Brock Beater in 6th, Kelly, then Scott Jacobson, 7th and 8th, Chad Stretch in 9th, and Jordan Bidstock 10th, which leaves your honorable mentions as Christopher Zenz, Tanner Conlon, Tate Johnson, Levi Runge, and Darren Schatz.
I honestly would agree with that. I think that's a pretty good list.
And again, 15 names, friendly for the graphic designers out there. Stock cars.
Just wait now for stock cars and mods. We need to have 25 to 30 names.
We obviously probably have 25 to 30 names. So good luck, everyone. Let's start ripping off some names.
1, Rob Vanderbilt.
Yes, Machida.
Adam Goff.
No, I wasn't asking, Mason. Number 1's going to be Rob Van Mill.
I'll just put him up there. How is it? Are we?
I was going to say.
Jordan
I'm pretty
Boyce,
sure he's
Will
gonna be number 1.
Sharesky, Gabe DeShaw,
Yeah, Deshaw.
Mike Hagan.
Trent Gregor.
I was going to say Trent Gregor, even though his year kind of got cut short.
Calvin
Andrew.
Kesselberg.
Jokum.
Yeah, Jokem's got to be on there.
Let's check the track champions all over the state.
Old Southwest
I feel
has
like I missed a name here.
Pro.
Oh yeah, Luke Rogue.
He was your track champion at Southwest Speedway.
I'm gonna get a bunch of eye rolls here when I say this, just to poke the bear for Hunter Damagala.
No,
Well, our track changed.
too damn bad.
He's already on the power rankings at number 3 in WISSOTA Street Stock. So no.
Oh, I said I just wanted a reaction. It's late.
Okay,
Chris Hortons was your track champion at Estevan.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
oh yes, he had a good season. He had a really good season.
No,
Say Austin Doe had a very quiet year.
He was
I
good.
know.
Yeah, he was very quiet. Oh, Joe Flory?
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like I didn't get to see Joe race a whole lot this year.
I'm gonna look him up. I don't even know how many times he ran. I know he had several
Should
wins.
have been his first year back from his surgery. So
Yeah.
I
There's
think
bunch out
he
east
was
too.
champion.
Let's
Yeah,
go
Joe
up.
had 3 wins. 3 wins out of 17 races. 15 top 10s.
I'm just not.
we want to
feeling
put Jason Berg on the list. He picked up a victory at Southwest Speedway.
it. Which track is this?
I would put Jason Berg on there at least to consider.
How about Sean Strand?
I was
Finished
just
top
thinking,
10 in the Dakota Classic Modified Tour. Picked up a victory at During Motor Magic. Almost won a Stock Car Stampede.
I'd honestly put Sean Strand in there.
I would put Dalton Flory on that list as well. Even though Dalton kind of went mods, but he had 4 stock car wins this year.
Did we say Will Sharesky?
We did, yes.
We did.
I got that
Can
one.
we add Brennan Labatt?
Labatt.
Brendan Labatt would be a good one.
Brendan Labatt Blue.
How many names are we at? 1, 2, 3.
A billion.
Hey, we're at the magic number of 15.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my rest of my tracks that I keep track of. I think that unless we're forgetting someone, guys.
Jacobson. Let's go Red River real quick.
I was just looking at that too to see.
You know, I will say Calvin Kesselberg, even though he's hard on himself and thinks he sucks, he had a really good year.
He did. He got a few wins at Red River Valley, considering the season that Rob had out there.
There's
Yeah.
the org. Nah, never mind.
Yeah, he didn't have a great year. He didn't have a bad year, but not a great year either.
No. Yeah, I guess I'll let's refrain
How many
from
names
that.
do we have?
We
so
have
far?
15 names
15.
right now.
That might actually be good.
I don't say Randy Klein didn't race a ton this year, so I don't know if I'd put him on there.
I don't think I'd put him on there.
I don't think I would either.
He struggles kind of the times I've seen him this year.
Yeah, because he mixed in with those WISSOTA modified. So I don't. Yeah, I would probably leave out.
I just kind of leave him out.
Jarrett Carter, not Jarrett Carter, but
Todd, Johnny.
yeah.
We're leaving him off of there too.
Yeah, we're leaving him off.
I think you're
Anyways,
stirring the pot.
15
right.
names to consider. We already have
One.
Rob Van Miller, number 1. Number 2.
Yes, Rob Van Miller is for sure number 1.
How about Adam Goff, number 2?
I would do Adam Goff as number 2.
State champion. He's got a few track championships as well. I believe Underwood comes to mind, as well as where else? Nodak. I think he got the track championship up there.
I think that might have been Shareski.
Oh yes, you're right. Sorry, I was going off from memory, off my spreadsheet, but
And
I don't have it
well,
up.
it's kind of funny because Will wasn't really planning on running for a track championship, and all of a sudden
Just
he's
kind of happened.
yeah.
How many
Oh.
wins did Will have this year?
Actually, you're right, Becca. Adam did get the track championship. He didn't win a race at Nodak, but Will got 4 out of the 7 at Nodak.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't realize Will had that many from Modak.
Andrew Jokum third. Mainly because of the people he races against and to obtain a track championship in a very stacked and deep field of cars. Not taking anything from out.
He beat Van Mill for the track championship, so I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
And that says something because Rob had a heck of a season.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
I feel like we should add an Austin Doe into the consideration. He actually did have. He had 4 wins.
Oh,
Trying to just not include Marshalltown or Boone. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically, out of 15 races, he had 4 wins.
Yeah, I think he should be considered then.
So okay, so we got Andrew up in number 3.
So
How about
we have.
Calvin Kesselberg?
Where should we put Shareski at? He's got to be up there too, someplace, right?
I think he'd fit around 5.
Okay.
But the question is, who do you put above him?
I think Shareski and Kesselberg could be either 4 or 5. I think there's an argument for both.
Okay, so
go ahead.
So I'm going to throw a wrench into this. Sorry, go ahead, Joseph.
Might be the same wrench I was thinking of.
Sean
Is it the one from Williston, Mason, that you're thinking of?
No, I was actually thinking of the runner-up for the tour.
Yeah, you could do him too.
But he didn't race a whole lot besides the tour, is the thing.
I put him closer to 7 or 8, Mason.
Okay.
See, that's where I'm kind of at with Dalton too, because Dalton ran 6 stock car races this year and won 4.
Let me create a separate column here.
Ay, ay, ay.
This is tough. We figured stock cars would be one of the toughest. So it's...
Pick out the 4, the guys with 4 wins.
Well, Shareski's got at least 4. Kesselberg's got at least, oh gosh. He's got at least 3. I can't remember if he won an ADA. He did. So he got 4. Doe's got 4. Shareski, how many does he have?
80.
He's got 4.
I'm looking up another name.
Number.
Come over here, add another some.
Durham Boyce has 4 wins.
Durham Boyce has 4 wins. What about Gabe Deshaw?
36 races,
Yes,
34 top 10s, 21 top 5s, and 4 victories.
Mm.
And he raced Esteban, Nodak, Underwood. Hang on, I kept pushing buttons.
Strand's got 2.
Williston.
Oh,
Grant's got 2.
Luke
He's
Crow's
got
got
2.
2.
Motor Magic and a Oktoberfest win, which also had a stacked field.
30, yeah, 30, what was it, 33? Somewhere in that range?
Yep.
It's 33, 34.
Huh. Okay, let's go back to the ones with 4.
Okay,
just take-
so that'd be Jorn. Let me put that Gabe Deshaw over there. Will, Calvin, and Austin Doe. Oops.
Okay.
Okay.
So between that, I would say Shureski's 4 because of the track championship.
Okay. Did he get the track championship in Underwood? Because actually, Adam Goff got the championship at Nodak.
McLean County was the track champion
Sure.
for championship for Will Shareski.
Okay.
And
Okay, so let me put in Will at number 4 for right now.
So Jordan Boyce was the track champion in Williston.
oh, huh.
I don't know if you guys knew that.
Did not know that.
Okay.
Sorry, Jordan. Didn't realize that. My bad.
I would probably put.
And Luke Krogh was the champion in Southwest. I know he's not in consideration. I just don't want you guys
Like,
to
keep
think
that
that
out there.
maybe.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would honestly put Will over Jordan.
I would
I
too.
would too.
Yeah, I feel like we'll beat Jordan at Nodak probably more times than even at McLean.
So that's the top 5. So we still got 5 more names to put on there. We're considering between Austin Doan.
Who are the
Calvin
other
Kesselberg.
4s? Who are the other
I'm
ones
still
that we
gonna-
have 4 with?
I'm still advocating for Calvin.
Calvin and Austin are the other 2 with 4. Dalton had 4 as well in 6 starts.
Why are we putting Austin ahead of Hortness? Just for
I would say
Hortness is-
Austin traveled a little bit more, even though that Horton has got the track championship. That'd be the my distinguishing, I guess.
Okay. I mean, I'm not opposed to that.
I feel like percentage wise, I would probably.
Let me
Go ahead,
let me
Jessup.
throw it this way. Between Hortness and Doe, I think that might not be feasible because I think
I still advocate for Calvin Kesselberg. He had 25 starts, 20 top 10s, 13 top 5s, and 4 victories. He raced primarily over at the Red River Valley Speedway, Norman County. Yeah.
I'm really going to
And,
give Calvin some grief because he actually had a really good year.
Yeah, he did.
yeah, but we're gonna play the fun game of yeah, but let's see.
What's your yeah, but?
Austin Doe went down to Boone and got second.
Saw that too.
Those are B features though.
Saw that though too.
UA DNF'd. I don't care where we go with this one. I think Calvin's a good choice.
Yeah, let's put.
Alright.
I'll put Calvin at 6.
And then Doe.
Would you put Doe and then maybe like? Did Dalton only do 6 stock car races? That's my only thing.
He did 6, and he was a DNF in 2 of them compared to the 4 wins otherwise.
I would do Austin over Dalton just because of the volume of races.
Okay.
I can get behind that.
So that's 7 and that's 8. So that leaves 2 spots. I can copy it correctly.
You
I
have
think we
two,
have to start talking about Sean Strand at this point.
you still have 2 track champions.
We have Fortness and you have Crow.
Yeah.
And Strand has 2 stock car wins.
I think Luke Krogh had 2 as well when I checked.
But Sean
Alright.
Strand ran the Dakota Classic Modified Tour for the very first time in a stock car, finished top 10 in points. His first night out in a stock car, officially competing with it, he won his heat race at the Red River Valley Speedway. He picked up the victory at Motor Magic, and I think he picked up another one. Where else? Not looking at
It
his
was Oktoberfest. Remember?
Oktoberfest, yes, at Dakota
Motor Magic
Speedway.
and Oktoberfest.
And dang near won the stock car Stampede, finished second.
Second. Was
to-
runner up there too.
Yeah. So when you think about those big specials, that was a big factor a few weeks ago when we did power rankings for street stocks and whatnot. Those year-end specials played a huge factor as well.
How many races did Chris run? Fortness.
I have to
He just raced. It appeared to be mainly the old,
Esteban.
yeah.
That was primarily Esteban. That was all 11 of his events.
And how many races did Luke have in just the stock car?
Oh gosh, I gotta count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 before you get to Boone. And he got 2 wins out of that 7. And I guess, sorry, and a third at Oktoberfest.
Boy, I'd honestly, I think I'd put Luke over Chris then. He's got more wins in a shorter period of time. Shorter
What
number
about
of
Brendan
races.
Labatt, though?
Hold on.
I'm gonna look him
Wait.
up.
So my questions here are: we have Gregor, we have Deshaw, Strand, all with wins of bigger events. So there's that side, and then we have Krog and Hartness sitting there with track championships but lower race numbers.
I'm looking at Trent Gregor's numbers. Outside of the mod tour, he only raced one other time in the stock car.
Once, right? Once.
But how many did he win at the mod tour?
He won 1
Once.
and finished second twice.
Okay. So then we go to Deshaw.
Shaw just had the Stampede win. That was his only win.
But he won in Vegas as well.
Let's see here.
Is this still for 9th place?
This is for 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
I'm
still
trying to see-
advocate for Sean Strand 9th.
I'm trying to see how many times Gabe raced the stock car.
And Becca, I agree with you on that, by the way.
So it looks like Gabe actually got more races than I thought in the stock car. It looks like he got just a little over a dozen. Actually, yeah, 12 to
I'd be
16.
I'd be good with Sean taking 9.
Okay, I'll put Sean at 9. In the final spot, you could actually make a decent
I think
case.
how about Joe Flory? He had 17 features, 15 top 10s,
Round about
12 top 5s, and 3 victories.
That's part about Joe too. He was also your Murder Magic champion.
Well, that part, yeah.
Yeah. So would you weigh that above the Luke Krog and Chris Hortness with the track championships then?
I would.
He's
He was
got
more
more
consistent
wins. Yeah.
over his course of the year.
Would you put that over Duel in the Desert win?
Does that have 38 cars, 37, 38 cars for the truckers? For Gabe. And Gabe had then 2 wins in the stock cars if we include the duel for the desert.
I personally would put Joe over Gabe just because if they both showed up to a racetrack in the state of North Dakota, I would probably pick Joe over Gabe.
Okay, I'm good with that.
This was Gabe's rookie year. Let's be real. He'll probably be top 10 for sure next year.
He's ascending the ladder pretty quick.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I have a feeling I kind of agree with you on that one too, Mason, and also you, Beck, and Jess at that. Yeah, Gabe came on really strong at the end of the year from the stock car perspective when he started figuring out, but Joe was probably overall more consistent.
Okay, so it looks like we got our 10 filled in for stock cars. Boy, this was a tough one. Number 1, Rob Van Mill. Number 2, Adam Goff. Number 3, Andrew Jokum. 4, Will Shresky. And top 5 is Jordan Boyce. Calvin Kessberg in 6, followed by Austin Doe, Dalton Forey, Sean Strand, and Joe Forey. And then your honorable mentions include Gabe Deshaw, Trent Gregor, Luke Krog, Chris Hortness, Brendan Labatt, and Jason Berg.
Okay, I think we're good, right, guys?
I
think
think
we're good.
Yep.
I think we're good for stock cars, and
I
we'll
think we did
close
pretty
it
good
out
on there.
with modifieds. We should give a while we got a second, since you're talking about modified, do the white flag in honor of Isaac Hotsass Sandro, an IMCA modified driver himself. Been pretty busy in the field, but settling down for the off season. We want to thank Isaac so much for supporting us on the Track Packers podcast. Be sure if you see him, whether it's at the Rusted Rail in Turtle Lake or just out and about, say hi to Isaac. There's some of the nicest people to talk to, the Sandros. So thank you so much, Isaac, for supporting us on the podcast. And so with that, let's dive into IMCA Modifieds. Should we just put in number one since it's probably pretty unanimous across the board?
Yeah, I
One,
think
two,
it would
three.
have to be
Travis
Travis
Hagen.
Hagen, which also we want to send out well wishes to Travis. He's battling some health issues. Actually ended up in the hospital here just a few weeks back. They were able to figure out what's going on with him. Luckily, it is a disease that it looks like he'll be able to live with, be able to control with medication and other things. So that's good news as well. As he had been experiencing some pain and some issues. So Travis, well wishes to you. Can't wait to see you back in a race car. Get healed up, get healthy for the 2024 season.
Yep, he was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And there is a GoFundMe. If you are following Travis on Facebook, it's been shared across multiple platforms. Be sure if you feel led to donate, be sure to do that. It helps with the medical expenses and further treatment as well. So big shout out to Travis and fighting that battle as well. So he's at number one in the power rankings. That's pretty unanimous. So then from there, let's start going with some names.
Okay, Dave Shipley.
Yep.
Colin Hibden. Jeremy Keller. Marlon Seidler.
Mark Dahl.
Mark Dahl.
Jordan Sowers. Travis Tooley.
Yeah.
Sean Strand.
John Strand.
Yep.
Marcus Tomlinson.
Marcus has to be there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Marcus Tomlinson.
John Nord.
Yeah, I would put John Nordon in there.
Scotty Gardner.
God, he's gonna
Yeah.
be there.
Zach Frederick.
Who were we missing from? I was gonna say Zach Frederick.
Zach
I knew we were missing
Frederick. Is
somebody
he
from
a
West.
three-time track champion over there in Southwest now?
Yes.
Three-time?
Yes.
I would probably put Stephen Pfeiffer as a name to consider.
Yes.
Brady
think he's a-
Biella.
Oh yeah, let me check the track championships. Oh yeah, Travis Hagen won them all. Just kidding. That's a joke.
Drew Hutchinson.
Yeah.
I'll put that name down there to consider. I think because was Stephen Pfeiffer first or second up in Estevan? Between him, Cody Shope was another one. That was the other guy I was thinking of.
Cody.
Yes. Now, since you guys are weighing track championships into consideration, Matt Auckland was the track champion over at Norman County, and Alan Kent was the champion at Buffalo River.
I'll put those two names down there just so we have our track champions listed.
Do you want to star the drivers that have the track championships? Not that way people don't have to struggle to remember who they are.
Okay, so
Shipley, Nord, Dahl, and then Auckland and Kent. Because the rest have been taken by Travis Hagen.
yeah, Travis, what the heck? What didn't want to share with anyone this year?
Sharing is caring.
Wait a second on the track championship for Norman. They ran one show of IMCA Modifieds this year.
Oh,
yeah,
oops.
they didn't really have a season for the modifieds.
Never mind that. I will take that off my spreadsheet. My bad.
So yeah, Travis got Nodak, Estevan, and Wilson. Okay.
Wow. This will be just as hard as the stock cars and
And
every
did,
class
did
before
Zach
this.
Frederick get the Dickinson one?
Dickinson, he got it at Southwest. Yep.
Okay.
His third in a row at Southwest.
He got that over Travis Tooley.
All right, so right now, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19 names.
All right. Let's start erasing names.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start sparsing that down a little bit.
I don't know about Matt Auckland.
So I was thinking.
He had an okay season, but not a great season.
You can take out Matt Auckland. I wrote down.
I mean, he
feel
had
like we
4
can-
wins, and they were all in the IMCA Modified because he was dabbling in IMCA and WISSOTA.
Yeah.
4 wins at 3 different tracks too.
How many wins did Drew have? Christensen.
Christensen. That's how I typed it in. That's not the right spelling.
Let's see here. He has 2 wins. 12
Okay.
top. 20. Both up at Nodak. Okay.
Hound had a couple wins at least.
Yeah, he had a couple too that I remember.
And
Don Strand only had 1 victory in the modified.
I would
Okay.
say from Sean's, I would say this would not be one of Sean's stronger
This
years.
is not a top 10 year for Sean Strand.
I would agree.
Oh,
Not in
I
the
think we
modified.
could probably pull him off of the list because we'll have plenty of, honorable mentions here.
mhm.
Yep, and he's already in the stock car side of it, so I'd take him off.
Yeah.
George Sowers has 2 wins, 10 top 5s, 18, both at Red River.
So who do we want to put in second?
I personally think second should be between Seidler,
And Shipley.
Jeremy, and Shipley. It would be between those 4. I
I'd
think.
agree.
Sorry, what
I
did
mean,
I
those
miss?
3.
I realized my oven was still on. Or
Oh
stove, I
my
should
God,
say.
that's too funny. I would say that second will be between, and Jessup and Beck and I just agreed, Shipley, Keller, and Seidler.
Okay. Now you guys obviously were at Man every single week. So between Seidler and Keller, who had like more wins or who's up in the front more?
So I have Keller's stats pulled up. He raced 16 times. He had 15 top 10s, 13 top 5s, and 4 victories.
It's a pretty good batting average. Yeah, Marlins real quick. So gotta make sure he didn't go other plays. Well, he almost swept Gillette for the East-West Clash. So he's got 8 wins, 17 top 5s, 20 top 10s, and 22 events.
And then Dave Shipley had 13 starts, 12 top 10s, 9 top 5s, and 5 victories.
And a track-
Primarily over at the Red River Valley Speedway and Jamestown.
and a track championship.
Yes.
Gosh, how do you differentiate between those 3?
Should I throw
Well-
a 4th name? What about Paulin?
No.
Paulin was top 5 at Super Nationals.
Yeah, but
In the state of North Dakota, I remember him having more bad luck than actually running up front and finishing and doing well.
he had a rough year from what
He
I
did.
remember.
Yeah,
He got better at the end, but
he got
for
a-
the majority of the season, it was rough.
Yeah.
He-
He's the reason why I looked it up, he's got 50 races and 9 wins. Obviously, that's all over.
Yeah.
I would say, oh gosh, yeah, those 3 definitely are probably the
How
next
many wins did Marlin have?
8.
How many
I
did
would
Ship-
put Marlin second. The Shipley had 5.
Yeah. Did Shipley win the Bison Battle race?
I think he may have, but let me look
Yes.
their schedule.
Yeah, Shipley won the Bison race and he won the track championship for Red River Valley.
That was on June 2nd, right?
Value to their big
yes, no,
win.
no, back, okay, it would have been the week after, it would have been the week of, it was the Friday before the Dumkey. Um,
Mm,
and
There
then
was
Shipley ran, did he have 3 races outside of Red River? I think he ran Jamestown 3 times
Yes.
this year.
Yep.
yes, he did win the Bison Battle, if that wasn't already confirmed.
and he also won the Dakota Catch shootout the week before.
So that's a pretty big race for over there.
But then
And
Marlin,
Shipley was,
yeah,
And all of his wins came at Red River Valley.
What did Mark do?
and Marlin won out in Gillette 2 straight nights and a third, so he nearly swept the East-West Clash.
So do we want to put more weight on a track championship, or do we want to put more weight on a driver who traveled and had more success
Well, then if you're gonna
in the region?
yeah,
I think I'd still put Marlin above that just because of, a little bit more win slash maybe a little, not much more traveling though. A little bit more traveling, but not much. He traveled obviously around a little bit more, but I would still put Marlin second. I personally would probably do Dave third and then Keller fourth. And this is the reason why. Dave ran 13 events and was top 10 in 12 out of those 13. The one event that he was not top 10 in was the Dakota Classic Modified Tour, and he was 11th. And that was over in Jamestown on opening night.
That
And they had
honestly would be
62 mods.
my rundown from 2nd through 4th as well.
I
Say
can
that
get
again.
behind that.
he did. Okay, say that one more time, just so I understand how.
Yep.
Marlin,
So
Dave,
Marlin number 2.
I
Jeremy.
don't know about that, Becca. I want to hear his reasoning behind Shipley versus Keller.
Shipley had 13 events,
Yep.
12 top 10s,
Okay.
5 wins,
Uh-huh.
and the only race he was outside of the top 10 was an 11th place finish at the Dakota Classic Modified Tour opening night in Jamestown. That was his worst finish of the year. Keller had, was it 15 events, Becca? I don't remember off the top of my
Think
head.
so?
Keller had
15
15 top 10s, 13 top 5s, 4 wins, and that includes a, what do you call it, a
Ironman win.
Ironman victory, and then his one race out of the top 10 was a 22nd DNF,
Yes.
and I think he broke that night. So,
He broke that night in Mandan, yep.
which then he followed up with 2 wins.
So I think we're in consensus on Marlin number 2 for the most part.
Yes.
I would lead towards. I think I'd lead towards Shipley over Keller.
I would as well. And
That's-
the only and then we just look at win totals. Shipley's got 5, Keller's got 4.
That's fine. They both have big races that they've won.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's top 4. From there, let's see. Mark Dahl's got. Oh, I forgot to highlight Mark Dahl as a track champion. My mistake.
How many wins did Dahl have? Did he just have a couple?
He didn't have much.
I think it was just a couple.
Yep, 2 wins. 2 wins, 13 top 5s, 16 top 10s, and 19 events. And he mainly raced at Dakota Speedway, but raced a couple times on the mod tour and once at Nodak, which he didn't start the feature. I wanted to look at Steven Pfeiffer real quick.
Yeah.
So I was considering Jordan Sowers,
Mm,
considering he was in the battle for a track championship at Jamestown and Red River Valley. Decent year. I don't know if he's 4th place, or sorry, where are we at now? 5th place?
We're looking at number 5 now.
Yeah.
We're looking for
So
that.
Jordan Sowers had 21 starts, 18 top 10s, 10 top fives and 2 victories.
How many wins did you say he had?
Jordan
2?
had 2. But he did battle for a championship at Fargo and Jamestown. He dropped out of the championship bid in Jamestown when he had to miss a weekend for a wedding, but he was still in the hunt for the championship over at the Red River Valley Speedway.
I would put Scotty Gartner ahead of Jordan Sowers. He's got
I
3
wouldn't.
He's got 3
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
And nothing against Scott, but Jordan ran better at
More consistently at all the tracks he
Correct.
raced at, whereas
Yep.
Scotty shines the brightest at Jamestown. Sometimes sort of struggles in Mandan, and
Nodak as well. Scotty also struggles at Nodak.
Cody Schulp has 5 wins this year.
Oh. Easy enough.
Oh,
Ooh.
Cody had a really good year.
and one of them being the Dakota Classic Modified Tour win at Estevan, edging Tim Ward. So I think that's
And
our
Cody
5th place guy,
was-
guys.
I think so. Cody was also runner-up. Yeah, he was also runner-up during Oktoberfest as well. I would put Cody as number 5.
Okay.
What were Mark Dahl's stats again? I know he didn't have many wins.
2
but
wins, 13 top 5s, and 16 top 10s.
He beat the number 2 and the number 4 guy for a track championship.
I think
Yep.
we have to start talking about Mark Dahl now.
I would say
I would agree.
Mark Dahl probably should be next or 7th.
Do we also want to consider Travis Tooley? He was your Gumke winner back in June. He was also your Stock Car Stampede winner and runner-up at the in the point standings at Southwest, and raced as much as he could due to his work schedule. He has to sometimes work nights. Raced well, top 5s usually in Mandan and Nodak if he could get up there.
He's got 4 wins, 7 top 5s, 15 top 10s out of 23 shows.
So-
but those 2 big wins are pretty big.
Exactly.
I
Mark was
think-
super consistent.
I think I'd put
think I
Dahl
would-
still there.
I would think I would put Dahl next.
Yeah, I think I'd still put Dahl there.
Where would you put Colin Hibden in this?
I was gonna say he's got to be somewhere top 10.
Because I
Would you do Colin after Dahl? I think I'd still put Colin in front of Travis.
Yeah, that one is. I think I would also put Colin in front of Travis.
When did Colin start winning though? Because he struggled.
So
Right.
Colin won a couple at the beginning of the year, and then August is when he started picking it up.
Okay.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he won a Kokopah.
Yeah, he
Gotcha.
had a
And
lot
the
of
dirt track
second
in
and-
Vegas.
It's a lot of second
Yep.
and thirds up in North Dakota to start the year.
Yeah, because then he went
When I
for
think
what
about-
was it, like a 2 month stretch to where he didn't win almost?
Yeah, because he blew engines or part
Tires
failures,
or
tires.
part failures. Yep.
When I think of his season, I think about his time here in North Dakota. I think about all the bad luck he had. Like it overshadows the few runner-ups or I mean, we haven't exactly ranked these power rankings exactly the same from week to week, but big race wins, were big car fields. Do you want to put
Mhm.
Travis Tooley's victories under Colin, who had weekly wins in North Dakota? Not or do we want to
Right.
consider his overall? He won at Kokopah, he won at Las Vegas, ran really well at Boone. I don't know I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I think the way I'd look at that though too is that Colin traveled more and raced against way more fields of cars, different variety of fields of cars.
Mhm.
And especially, I always go back to Super Nationals. You guys know Super Nationals was huge with a number of
Yeah.
cars, and he was top 5 again for the second year in a
Mhm.
row.
Yeah, but that's a track that he excels at. So
And Thule has a track that he excels at in Jamestown.
True. But we're looking at a North Dakota standard or our area standard for this.
Well, let me put these two up there because I think we're considering Colin and Travis next out of the rest of the names.
I think so.
Yeah.
We can still switch them after we figure out the rest of the top
We're
10.
going with Zach Frederick. 3-time back to back to back.
I was going to look
I
at
would
his
definitely
stats.
consider Zach to be in the top 10 for sure.
2 wins, 9 top 5s, and 16 top 10s out of 24 shows.
I'm looking at Marcus's stats now.
I don't know if Marcus got a win this year, but he traveled
he
a
did.
bunch.
He didn't win.
I don't think he did win, right?
Oh.
He didn't win.
He did not win. Marcus had 46 starts, 38 top 10s, 24 top 5s, and 0 wins. I think he came close to winning at Williston and then got booted at the end, right? Is that when 72 Kyler Jeffrey? I think him and Kyler were battling for the win up there.
Oh, you were right. Yes,
Hmm.
yes. Yep, it was that race. It was that night that they were on the bottom. They
Yes.
were running next to the tires.
John, or I can look it up real quick. I was going to ask how many wins John Nord got. He got 1 win.
Yeah, I was gonna say he didn't win a this year by any means.
He's got a.
Mason, I
Trash.
see the name you have on the 10th place in the.
I did
In the
not type
spreadsheet.
that name there.
Okay. Jessup did. I could see the smirk in his face.
What?
All right. All right.
I'm just more impressed he
Um,
spelled it correctly.
Hey, pay me to lead, not to read or spell.
Or spell. So we got 2 spots left for the top 10. Once we have to start out Hibden and Thule yet, but
I would say
yeah, I'd say probably Frederick at number 9. I forgot to look at Brady Biela's stats too.
I don't think Brady had a great year though, honestly.
Not quite as good as he had the year before. So Stephen
Yeah.
Pfeiffer had 23 starts, 16 top 10s, 14 top 5s, and 3 victories. I think he would have raced more if he wasn't in the field as much as he was this year. But
I would say pass on.
and all of his wins came in Estevan. Not just crediting them at all, just
He,
seemed to hit it really strong at one track.
who?
Stephen Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer. Yeah, Biela had a pretty consistent start to the year, but at once July hit, it was kind of
Yes, up.
rough.
What?
You're sabotaging.
Sabotage
That
my-
was. That's John. You can hear him.
I can see who wrote it.
It
That
was me.
John.
Oh.
Wow.
I love how
I
Becca was
can
complaining
see
for
who
this.
wrote it.
Well, do we want to start talking about Jordan Sowers again?
Well,
Considering
I was-
he did run for the track championship at 2 tracks, got a couple wins along the way.
That's the other name I was
Okay.
thinking of between like
I-
Zach and Jordan Sowers.
I have a wrench in the mix.
Uh-oh.
We forgot a driver
Who?
that maybe should be involved in this discussion.
You talking about
Um,
Alan Kent?
No, I'm talking about Jason Walla.
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
He had 18 races and 17 top 10s and 5 wins.
oh shoot.
Well,
I looked at the
Alright.
Dakota Classic Modified Tour standings. I was like, oh, that's right. He finished top 5 in points this
Whoopsie.
year.
Okay.
hmm.
Well, he's got to get put up in there. I would
I would-
personally, I would actually put him ahead of Colin and Travis.
Yep.
Agreed.
That.
Yeah, I would too.
And then
I would agree with you on that.
at 10.
You put Zach at 10?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
actually,
think-
that would, yep.
I don't think that's a very close discussion between him and Jordan. One's got a track championship, the other didn't.
One's got
Yeah.
three in a row now for
Yeah,
track
that's
championships.
fair.
Yeah. And nothing against Jordan, but
He had a really good
Jordan
year.
had a great season.
He had a great
Jordan
year.
had a great season.
so now let's talk about our honorable mentions.
Okay, so let's go back to the list.
I mean,
Moving on.
we have 9
So-
honorable mentions. We could
I
probably
would
So I
say
think
you can drop
I
Brady.
personally think we can get rid of Auckland, right? We got rid of Auckland.
Yep.
Mhm.
I personally feel like we could get rid of Yella.
Yep.
What do you guys
Yeah.
think?
I'd say
Yeah.
Biella.
I would leave Nord for the track championship aspect.
Yep. I would leave Scotty because of the wins.
I would leave Tomlinson for state championship.
I think
Yep.
the one I'd remove would be Christensen,
Yep.
I kind of feel like that same thing.
which that leaves 6 on the honorable mention, which is, I think that's a good amount.
Yeah,
No,
especially for the
yeah.
mods, because there was a lot of mod guys.
So did we want to refine the top 10? The last thing we didn't completely sort out was Hibden versus Thule, and they're at 8 and 9.
I could honestly go either way with those two, personally.
I think for a North Dakota,
I would say
Perspective.
just
Thule.
I would say Thule mainly from a North Dakota aspect, and he had a more consistent mid-season than Hibden did.
That would be
'Cause
my vote too.
Because yeah, Hibden's wins were just weekly wins at Jamestown and Fargo. Whereas Thule, his wins, he has 2 very big marquee wins.
They were big wins. They were
Yeah.
huge wins.
Alrighty. So our top 10 in our IMCA Modifieds. Travis the Dark Horse Hagen, number 1. Marlon Seiler, number 2. Dave Shipley in 3. Jeremy Keller, 4th, and Cody Shipley are top 5. Then it's Mark Dahl, Jason Walla, Travis Thule, Colin Hibden, and Zach Frederick. Honorable mentions include Jordan Sowers, Marcus Tomlinson, John Nord, Scotty Gardner, Stephen Pfeiffer, and Alan Kent.
Yay.
Good thing we say
Oh,
the worst.
Since we're talking about him, Travis Thule, he just had surgery this week, and so get well wishes, Travis. Hope you heal up soon, and we'll see you on the track real soon.
Yeah. Excellent. Good thing we saved the toughest classes for last, right?
Woo! Well, and if you race fans think we got it wrong, or if we missed a driver, or those honorable mentions should be in the top 10, you let us know in the comments below, guys.
Absolutely. This is your
And
chance.
And I will let them know that they are wrong. Like they were wrong before.
No, man. Those were dark days. Any other closing thoughts before we wrap up episode number 36? I will say, as one of the last things, thanks to Tyler Hall once again for sponsoring us. We are doing a giveaway. He has some VIP tickets to give away for the Gateway Dirt Nationals, and so stay tuned to the page on information on how we will be giving away those VIP tickets. There'll be 3 of them.
You know how I heard people are going to be entered for that is they have to go to Apple Podcasts and give a 5-star review and mention that what they like about our podcast and who their favorite podcast person is.
What if people who reviewed got an extra entry into the contest
Ooh,
if they reviewed?
That would be a really good incentive. Yes. So stay tuned to the page. We're going to figure out over the next day or so how we're going to do that giveaway. Of course, Gateway Dirt Nationals is coming up on the 14th through the 16th of December, so it's coming up quick. And I know a lot of people up here are planning to make that trip down, so this would just enhance your experience even more. So with that, we will wave the checkered flag on episode number 36 of season 2 for the Track Packers podcast. Be sure, as always, to like, share, and comment below on our Facebook or YouTube page. Spotify, Google, and Apple is where you can find us in podcast form. Thank you once again to our sponsors, Hitch Harness and Isaac Hot Sauce Sandro. Winter's coming, but that doesn't mean we won't stop talking racing, so we hope to see you out there packing the track.